like it's gonna be another Harlem storm.
Harlem. Yeah. Uh-huh. Said you did it, but have you ever lived it? Say you could take a punch, but can you give it? Can you see shit and mind your business? Bullets flying, oh, that's how you living? See shit without snitching? Forget what you seen like old pictures? Can you take pain and not yell? Get your own shit in your own scale?
It looks like it's gonna be another Harlem storm.
Yo, Harlem storm again. It ain't all good, and it damn sure ain't all easy. Prison stories from a female point of view. Alpo Martinez went to Julia Richman High School. I went to Julia Richman High School. Everybody in Julia Richman High School that was Black or Hispanic came from a long way away, either El Barrio, which was Spanish Harlem, or Harlem, one or the other, because Julia Richman High School was all white. It was all in an all-white neighborhood, not all white school, but all white neighborhood. And everybody had their little cliques, okay? Everybody had the same dreams, you know, it was a particular era to whereas it was okay in a way to have plugs and deal, and that was the way that Black and Hispanic teenagers looked at making it, okay, in terms of, you know, you ask your moms or your pops for some money, for some pizza or some clothes or something, you was going to get a no, okay? You was going to get a no, all right? So nobody was giving you anything, okay, at that age. So you had to figure out how to make it on your own. You was always on the street anyway, okay? I've been on the street since I'm 12 years old, okay? Can you imagine that in all of New York City? For real? Really, okay? So everybody had their same dreams of trying to make it, of supporting themselves, okay? Now, supporting yourself when you're a teenager, all that means is clothes, food, keeping some money in your pocket. You know what I mean? I mean, when we were kids, we started out stuffing, you know, paper towels in telephone booths. There was still such a thing as a telephone booth, okay? And the money would pile up, and then you would take a hanger, a clothes hanger, and then just yank down the paper towel, and all this money that people had lost would come trickling down, you know. And to us, that was a lot of money when you're, you know, 12, 14 years old. But when you get a little older, you know, you want to start looking nice. There's peer pressure, you know, as a teenager. And, you know, everybody wanted to drive nice cars like Alpo and you know, have scooters and motorcycles and whatnot, you know. Now, I didn't know him personally, but we went to the same school. And being Black and Hispanic is a situation where you didn't get your respect, okay? You didn't get your respect at all outside the neighborhood of Harlem or El Barrio, Spanish Harlem, okay? So that means most of the time you was either in conflict with somebody, a fight with somebody, you know, broke all the time, you know. So it wasn't so unusual that Alpo wound up being a dope dealer, a good dope dealer. He was good at what he did, you know. At that age, in that era, just about everybody was doing the same thing, okay? Everybody was doing the same thing. Everybody was trying to sell a little weed, you know, sell a little drugs, a little coke here and there. Everybody that I know, that I grew up with, that started that way, they're either dead or in jail. Most of them dead, even from mistaken identity, okay, dead, okay? The first death was like 15-year-old, Okay, and she was Puerto Rican, and she died from a drug overdose. That shocked the hell out of everybody because nobody was using needles or the pipe, at that young age. And the fact that she died, it just messed me up and a lot of my friends. It didn't stop us from doing what we were doing. We were still out in the street, hustling. But the game got a little bit more serious because it was a supply and demand. Okay, it was supply and demand. The more people want, the more you got to supply. Okay, and Alpo was just one of the best and one of the biggest at what he did. Okay, my clique was nothing compared to Alpo's. You know what I mean? Me and my clique, we did the same thing, but it was nowhere near on that level. Okay. I could have gotten to know him. I could have gotten to know Nikki Bonds too, but I didn't want to do that. Okay. I didn't want to get that deep into the streets. I wasn't that greedy. Okay. My dreams weren't that big. My dreams were just enough to, have nice clothes, and in those days they had like the house parties, you go to the red light parties in the projects and, meet guys. I was more or less into the guy thing. I wasn't into greedy and money and stuff like that. And when the crack era came, I completely, got away from that sort of thing because I saw what, crack was doing to the neighborhoods and what it was doing to people's families. And it was just too close for comfort. Had a cousin that overdosed, in the military, had one that overdosed in the projects, had one that cut somebody's throat, almost killed him. He wound up in jail. Another one, my father had to send him away to California because he murdered somebody over some kind of nonsense, So it was heating up there in Harlem. It was my family, and that type of lifestyle was starting to heat up, and I didn't want to be around none of that stuff because I had my own demons. Okay, I had my own demons and my own drama, and it was trying to keep them, my own demons, asleep and keep them at bay. Okay, so I didn't want to get into nobody else's, he said, she said, nobody's drama. And at that time, a lot of people, they was, they was running off with packs, man. They was running off with packs, man. And the next thing you know, your best friend is naked, handcuffed, tied to the Project Bannister, shot in the head a couple times. You know what I mean? So things were starting to get kind of ugly, okay, on the streets during that time. It looked good. It looked good, because everybody had cars, everybody was dressing nice and whatnot, But that greed will get you every time, man. Greed. And like they say, you have no friends in business, okay? And it all started at Julia Richman High School. You learned how to survive. Okay, you learned how to survive. And like I say, when Alpo was there, he had his little clique. When I was there, I had my little clique. Everybody had their dreams. And there was no other way to make money at that particular time except, sell drugs. Sell weed, sell drugs. I mean, I started off selling joints back in the day as a kid, as a preteen, so by the time you were a teen, you already know the game. You know the game, you got a couple of plugs, it's up to you, if you want to keep going or not, I personally didn't want to keep going. I personally was more into guys and, dressing nice and stuff like that. I didn't want to go for the big dollars. It was getting too hot. And like I say, my family was getting, messed up, deep into the drugs, in jail, killing folks, it was getting animalistic out there. It was really, when they say the jungle, it was really the jungle, And the school that Alpo went to, the neighborhood that Alpo was from, El Barrio and Harlem, trust me, growing up there, you had to be rough. That's why I could give advice now to this day and tell people everybody ain't made for the street. Okay? Everybody is not made for the street. They ain't made for the game. And like I say, they're either dead or in jail. Okay? And that's what, I think that this generation has to know, that everybody ain't made for the game. It ain't a cookie cutter, excuse me. It's not a cookie cutter kind of thing where, oh, there's the game. Hey, oh, the brass ring is over there. Oh, the bag is over there. Oh, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. Not everybody's strong enough for the street. Not everybody's smart enough for the street. Not everybody's tough enough for the street. Okay? So, I'm not defending Alpo, but the school we went to, the neighborhood we grew up in, and the fact that there was nothing but lint in our pockets before the game came along or before we decided to get into the game, that it was what it was. That's what it was. And those days are gone. That game has been sold, man. It's just that there were not that many options. There weren't any options at that time, because no one was willing to really, bag up groceries in the grocery store at that time. You know what I mean? It was like, you wanted to look nice. You wanted to dress nice. When you come from the hood, you want to dress nicer than everybody else because your self-esteem is low enough as it is. You don't want people to know you come from the hood. Well, shit, just because I come from the hood, I don't got to look like I'm from the hood. Okay? So, we dressed extra nice. We got the extra expensive stuff to prove something to ourselves and people other than ourselves, people outside. We had an image to portray. Okay? We had an image to portray. See what I'm saying? So, I'm not defending Alpo. Okay, but I can honestly say that from where we came from, Harlem and Spanish Harlem, Julia Richman High School, where 3/4 of us, Black and Hispanics, we weren't getting our proper education whatsoever. Okay, they sat the Blacks and Hispanics in the back of the classroom, ignored us, when we were there. Okay, and we didn't have any options. That was the only option that Alpo had, just like a whole lot of other people. You know what I mean? And I was one of them. Okay? That was the only option we had. This Harlem Storm, it ain't all good, and it damn sure ain't all easy. Hit that like and subscribe, and I'll be bringing you some more jewels from Harlem, New York. Straight up. Peace.